How you doing? I'm Oz.
Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel and a fan of the Penguin, the Batman, and looking forward to the Batman Part 2, hit that subscribe button. I talk about it and we'll be discussing it with you all for the foreseeable future, at least until October 1st, 2027, or possibly beyond that as well. But any chance I can get to talk about either the Batman or the Penguin, I'm going to take that opportunity to do a video and discuss it with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below because I want to hear from you. I want to have this conversation. What do you think of the Batman Part 2? Where do you think it's going? And now, what do you think of the Penguin Part 2? I've done a few videos on this, especially the last few months. It seems to really be at the forefront. I think because it's Emmy season and the Penguin was up for 24 Emmy nominations, including Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Limited Series. So there's a lot going on, and it is at the forefront of people's mind. They want to know what is going on with the Penguin. And now, of course, the Batman 2 scripts by Matt Reeves has been delivered to a bunch of casts. We don't know who and some crew, but we don't know all the casts that have gotten it yet. But we know that Jeffrey Wright has gotten it, and we know that Colin Farrell has gotten it. And not only has Colin Farrell gotten the script, but he has also read the Batman Part 2, and he's had some comments on the reading of it. Nothing too in-depth. He's going to stay quiet for the most part. I don't think they want anything to leak, especially if you saw the way these things were delivered. And I'm sure if anyone says anything, there'll be more than just being sued going on. They might end up in Arkham or something even worse. But the Batman 2 scripts are out. Is this going to be another 3-hour epic, 3.5-hour epic? We've waited 5 years between movies to get these things, so who knows what we're in for. But I can't wait. And Colin Farrell did have some stuff to say about it, what he thought of the scripts and what his thoughts going into the Penguin Season 2, if there would be a Penguin Season 2. Colin Farrell has dropped some big updates on both the Batman Part 2 and the Penguin series, and his words give us a lot to think about. In a new interview reported by Deadline, Farrell confirmed that he'll return as Oz Cobb, better known as the Penguin in Batman Part 2, something we already knew, which is set for April of 2026. But here's the confirmation part. He admitted that his role, once again, is pretty small. In his words, I haven't got much to do on it, just a little bit. I read the script, and it's extraordinary. That's fascinating because it means Penguin isn't taking center stage in the Batman 2, as we knew, but Farrell is still hyping up the story as something special. The fact that he calls Matt Reeves' script extraordinary should excite every fan of the franchise, especially since Reeves has been so careful to build a darker, more grounded Gotham universe and taken 5 years to get this far. But the real headline here is Farrell's honesty about whether the Penguin series should continue into a second season. He admitted that he's not sure Season 2 is a good idea, saying he's heard rumblings that Warner Brothers and HBO Max want it, but part of him thinks maybe they should leave it alone. His exact words were, I don't know the way you go back to that trough. And part of me wants to go, just let it go, people. We got away with it. Leave it as it is. That's an incredibly canon thing to say. Most actors would hype up a second season to get fans talking, but Farrell is more concerned with the integrity of the story. This raises a huge question. Does the Penguin need a Season 2? Or should it stay a one-season crime saga? Season 1 is clearly designed to explore Oz's rise in Gotham after the death of Carmine Falcone in The Batman. It's his Scarface moment, his Sopranos moment, a gritty street-level crime drama set in the world of DC. If that story reaches a natural conclusion, maybe stretching it into another season risks watering it down. Farrell himself seems to understand the danger of telling a story just for the sake of continuing it. At the same time, Farrell isn't shutting the door completely. He added, if they come up with a fantastic idea or something like that, of course I'd be open to it. That leaves room for speculation. What could a second season of The Penguin look like? If Season 1 ends with Oz at the top of Gotham's underworld, Season 2 could focus on the challenges of keeping power. Maybe he faces rivals. Maybe the Joker or another villain enters the picture. Or maybe law enforcement tightens the noose. There's plenty of room for expansion, but it has to feel necessary. And this connects back to the Batman 2. If Penguin's role is small there, then the Penguin series may serve as his definitive character study. The show could be his big arc, and then in the films he continues as a supporting character the way he traditionally functions in Batman comics. Penguin is iconic, but he's rarely the central villain for long. Although my favorite. That might be the most natural storytelling approach. Give him this one great series, then let him exist in the shadows of the larger Batman stories. This also highlights a bigger conversation in Hollywood today. Should every story become a multi-season franchise, or is there more power in restraint? We've seen so many shows overstay their welcome because studios can't resist pushing out more content once they know fans are interested. Farrell's honesty here might be a warning. Sometimes the best thing you can do is stop after one perfect season. Think about how much stronger some shows would be if they had ended earlier, before their stories stretched thin. But then again, Gotham is such a rich world. Warner Brothers clearly wants to build out the DC universe on both the big screen and streaming, and the Penguin is one of their strongest cards. If the ratings are there, if the fan response is strong, it'll be hard to imagine them not pursuing a season 2. The real question is whether Matt Reeves and the creative team can deliver a new angle that feels fresh and authentic, instead of just repeating the same beats. So here's where we stand. Colin Farrell is back as the Penguin in the Batman Part 2, though his role will be limited, and he's already calling the script extraordinary. As for the Penguin Season 2, Farrell is cautious. He's open to it, but he's not sure it's a good idea unless the story demands it. That's a rare kind of honesty in the industry, and it shows he cares more about telling a great story than cashing in on hype. And there's another layer here. Colin Farrell's Penguin has already become one of the most talked about comic book performances in recent memory. What makes this even more interesting is that he's accomplished that with relatively little screen time on the big screen. In the Batman, Penguin had a handful of standout scenes, but Farrell's transformation was so complete, prosthetics, voice, mannerisms, that audiences couldn't stop talking about him. That's a rare achievement, and it shows why HBO felt confident greenlighting a spinoff in the first place, but it also raises the stakes for season 1. This show nailed it, and will be remembered as one of the boldest character studies in the superhero genre. However, if it drags on too long, it risks undoing that reputation. Ultimately, Farrell's comments highlight something we don't hear from actors in these giant franchises: honesty. He's not afraid to say, maybe we should stop here. That's rare in Hollywood, where the instinct is always to keep expanding. Whether or not the Penguin Season 2 ever happens, Farrell has already cemented his version of Oz Cobb as iconic. And if this character story ends with one brilliant season and a few appearances in Reeves films, that might actually make his legacy stronger. Sometimes the boldest choice is knowing when to stop. So if you know me, if you're on this channel, you know that I love the Penguin and I would love a season 2 of the Penguin. But that being said, I also would hate a season 2 of the Penguin. It was such a perfect show, a perfect series, and what it was, that limited run. It had a beginning, middle, end, and end. And he says, we got away with it. He says, we got away with it. And they absolutely did get away with it. I think when this first season was announced, people were questioning, why would you do that? And then when you watch the Batman, you're like, he's barely even in this movie. So where would you take a season 2? I think a season 2 would have to be extraordinarily different. I don't even know if you could have Sophia in it. So right there, that's half the dynamic of the first season is gone. You have to find a new dynamic. What is it? Is it Penguin now getting involved in politics higher and higher? Is he going to take on the Mayor Oz Cobb persona that he has in the past? Are we going to go in that direction? The issue with anything they do with the second season, and why they probably can't do a second season at this time, and maybe they can start to think about it a little bit more truthfully now, is that the script for the Batman Part 2 wasn't complete, and now it is. But there's also the Batman Part 3, and so the Penguin took place between 1 and 2. Theoretically, the Penguin Season 2 would have to take place between 2 and 3. But what is 3? Where does 3 lead? How does 2 get us to 3? They'll have to know all of those ins and outs and those puzzle pieces to form this puzzle itself within that larger puzzle. They'll need to know where it's going and how they're going to get there and what Oz Cobb's part in all that actually is. And until they know that, until they have a full understanding of that detail, they can't do a second season of the Penguin, even if they wanted to. You have to wait. You have to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're going to do that. So until you have all of those pieces there, it's going to be really tough for them to tell that story. Now that we have the script, and I say we, I don't have it. But now that the script for the Batman Part 2 is in, you have a better understanding of where Oz Cobb Penguin is, and you have a better understanding of where it's going to go. And then now they can plot out the third movie. And when I say now, I mean, 2 years from now, they can start plotting out that third movie. But somewhere along this line, they're going to have an idea of where that third movie is, if they don't already, and they'll have a better understanding of where Penguin Oz Cobb fits in that movie. And from there, they can decide, hey, season 2 is a go, or you know what, it's time to move on. Maybe we do a season of a different character, or maybe this whole thing, it was a one-off. We got away with it, as Colin Farrell said, and you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. Those are my thoughts on Batman 2 and the Penguin Part 2 based on Colin Farrell's comments. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and until next time, may be the master of your own universe.